Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Man, oh man, oh man. Finally, I got something really positive to talk about for this Halo show. We got my review of Paramount Plus's Halo TV series. We got episode 5 titled Reckoning, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get into it. For the first time in this entire series, I finally have an episode where I don't have that many major gripes about this episode. They're nitpicky and they're more or less because of my attachment to the game series and the books and the details of the creatures in that. I felt like the episode was a little slow, but you know, they were at the beginning, but they were building up. They were trying to figure out a way. The UNSC, Dr. Halsey, her team, Miranda Keyes, her team, they were all trying to figure out a way to get the artifact out of the cave to which the Master Chief had located it at in the previous episode. We also got a little bit of background on John's, a little bit more of John's past and how Miranda Keyes came to be. There was a little bit of a scene. This is probably my major gripe. I would say the only major gripe that I had with the episode. When the Chief discovered that Halsey had, when she kidnapped him, he figured out the truth of it, you know, and how he just kind of went a little psycho in a moment and he tried to lunge at her. I thought that was a little weird. That seems a little uncharacteristic. Granted, he did take his emotional blocker chip thing out of his back, so at the same time it's just kind of like I don't know, that's a little out of character for the Chief. Moving into the minor gripes of this episode, the Covenant, when they showed up, there was a big battle action scene in this episode, and it was great. It was wonderful. I'll get into all the details about how much I love that later in the video. But the Jackals were carrying some little weird energy sword, and I just like dude, like no, no. Jackals never carried weapons like that in the games, the books, none of that. It's just a little gripe I have. And I know it's, as always, I'm going to keep saying it's different from the books. It's not the games, but still, I just thought that was weird. Like seeing the Jackals carry around a little mini energy sword. It was just, that was a little weird. And then at first I was kind of thrown off with how tall the Jackals are, but I did a little bit of research before I got into the video, and the Jackals were measured at over 6 foot, at 6'2" to be exact, which is interesting because they never looked that tall in the games, like ever. Granted, the Master Chief is over like 7 foot, close to 8 foot, and even the Spartan 3s from Halo Reach, they still didn't look that tall compared to them, but hey, whatever. So I guess that's what they're looking at. So little things like that. Quan scenes were boring as always, kind of tuned out during those, but there wasn't as many, which is a positive. It's just, I don't know. Like I just want to see a little bit more action. That's what I want to see. I want to see action style Halo. That's what I'm interested in. And I didn't like the Chief benching Kai because she took her thing out, her chip out as well. I feel like that was kind of like, hey, dude, you did it too. So, and she brought up the point, which she did bring up the point in that conversation of, hey, you did it too. So what's that make you? And even Cortana said something to him about it. So, I mean, those are pretty much the major, the gripes that I had throughout the episode. So I'll just get into a lot of the positives I had with this episode. And those were the action scene at the end. That was great. That was Halo. That has been what I've been waiting for to see. It was the Covenant, full stead fighting the UNSC. And granted, the Covenant just kind of came in and surprised everything, and UNSC barely had time to react, so it was kind of up to Silver Team to dish out most of the punishment to the Covenant, which they did. It was great. That was awesome. That was wonderful to see finally see the Grunts and the Jackals live action. It was, yeah, that was great seeing those guys live action, seeing those guys come in and do some damage, do what they do, because whether people realize it or not, the Grunts and the Jackals are still pretty dangerous, and they do a lot of damage. They're easy for us to kill in the games and whatnot, but they do a lot of damage to the Marines, and if you read some of the books and the comics, man, those guys knew how to kind of mess things up a little bit for the UNSC's standard infantry. So I want to talk about some of the scenes, some of the non-action scenes. Like obviously, as I mentioned earlier, there was not very much of Quan in this episode, and thankfully I enjoyed it. Maybe the writers of the show realized how terrible of a character she is, and they just started cutting her out less and less throughout the remainder of the season. The Master Chief, there was a few scenes with him that I really liked where there was no action involved, and it was kind of where he was just kind of staring at things, giving some one-liners. It was great. Like, that is the Master Chief that I know. Constantly analyzing the battlefield, seeing what's going on, a couple one-liners here and there, not really responding to anybody, kind of just giving him a look, and that conveys all the emotion or all the thoughts that he has, and I thought that stuff with him was great. That was original OG Master Chief that I know. As always, give compliments to the production crew, the design crew, people in charge of the CGI. All of it looks great. It looks phenomenal. All that stuff is just wonderful. The way the guns fire. Oh, yeah, and I forgot one little gripe I had towards the end. The Master Chief using the battle rifle. Why is it automatic? Battle rifle is a 3-round burst. Everybody knows that. Let's be consistent with the guns and what they're supposed to do. You got the look right with all these weapons. Let's keep the mechanics about them the same. And moving into the big reveal at the end. As much as I gripe upon this show and say the things that I do, that reveal of the brute chieftain at the end was great. Man, I was losing my mind. I was going freaking bonkers when I seen that. Like, that was just awesome. The brute chieftain pulling up out of nowhere. Hearing the shield, hearing Master Chief's shield regen, or being knocked down and it has to regen like that. That scene with that was just, dude, oh my god, I lost my mind seeing that brute chieftain. That was great. I was wondering when we were going to see the brutes too, and I thought it would be some standard infantry, but nah, they pulled out the chieftain, they pulled out the big guns, and that was great. That's phenomenal. Keep stuff up like that, writers, and that is, man, that's what I want to see. That's what I want to see, and I know that's what a lot of the OG Halo fans want to see. What did you guys think about this episode? By far, this has got to be the best episode of the series that I've seen, so I'm going to go ahead and give it a 7 out of 10. The CGI and the action scenes and some of the non-action scenes that I like put it over a lot of things I griped about, so I definitely got to give it a 7 out of 10. This was a great episode. A lot of the stuff that I didn't like was bad, like really bad, didn't like it, but the stuff I did like really far exceeds all of it, and it was great. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Did you like this? Did you think they did a good job with the CGI? Did you not like the action scenes? Were you kind of like me and a little weirded out with the jackals with the energy swords? Did you like the reveal of the brute chieftain there in the end? Did you like the other reveal with now how they're going in the direction that the blessed one is going to be within the humans and spying on them and keeping the Covenant one step ahead? We've only got 4 episodes left. We've got 9 episodes total in season 1. We've only got 4 left. I don't think we're going to see Halo until maybe episode 8, episode 9. Probably even the last 10 minutes of 9. We'll probably see Halo. All right, guys. That's it for me. I'll see you in the next video. Everybody have a wonderful day. And hopefully you enjoyed this episode as much as I did. See you guys.